This wasn't the original video I had planned for today, but when Jacob deGrom signs with the Texas Rangers to a 5-year contract for $185 million, it supersedes anything that I had planned. So let's get into three takeaways that I have from this deal between Jacob deGrom and the Texas Rangers. We begin with number three. Now, as I just stated, Jacob deGrom signed a 5-year, $185 million deal with the Texas Rangers. What makes this so significant is that it's a huge sum of money for a team that spent nearly $500 million just last offseason, bringing in Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. Now, obviously, this is a ton of money that the Rangers are investing in trying to rebuild their franchise. Last year, building from the middle of their infield, now with the ace of their rotation. The question now becomes, with so much money invested into three players, what more can the Rangers actually do to start competing in that American League West division? The Astros are an absolute juggernaut in terms of Major League Baseball, not even just the West division. We would see the Mariners end the 21-year drought in postseason baseball. You also have a team in the Angels that has arguably two of the greatest players to ever step foot on a Major League Baseball field. So the question is, just how good will this move for Jacob deGrom make the Texas Rangers? Now, the second takeaway, and I just mentioned it a moment ago, the Texas Rangers got their ace. There's no question about it. Jacob deGrom, when healthy, and that is the caveat, when healthy, is the greatest pitcher in Major League Baseball actively pitching today. Arguably one of the greatest pitchers to have ever pitched in Major League Baseball. But over the last couple of seasons, deGrom has not been a healthy pitcher. In 2022, he would pitch just 64 innings of work. Yes, they were a dominant 64 innings, but they were 64 innings nonetheless. And yes, he would have a very strong outing in the wild card series for the New York Mets. But again, injuries and health play a very big role in this. The fact is that it is a 5-year deal with a potential 6th-year option that would total out at $222 million for Jacob deGrom's services over the next 6 potential seasons. And that leads me into the first and biggest takeaway that I have from this deal. Yes, it is 5 years. Yes, it is a ton of money. But the biggest question is about the health concerns of Jacob deGrom. We would see this ace pitcher undoubtedly in Major League Baseball dominate baseball for very many years. But injuries have taken their toll. You're now giving a 34-year-old pitcher a 5-year guaranteed deal with an option for a 6th year, pushing him to the elder statesman age of 39 and 40. And yes, we have seen a 39-year-old win the Cy Young this past season in Major League Baseball with Justin Verlander, coming off of injury in the prior season. But we don't know exactly how Jacob deGrom is going to bounce back from his injury-riddled 2022 and how he's going to project forward for the next 5, possibly 6 seasons for the Texas Rangers. Obviously, it is a huge risk on both parts, but more so for the Texas Rangers. That is a lot of money to invest in one single pitcher for your roster. A ton of money. There's no doubt about it. Again, when healthy, Jacob deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. No doubt in my mind. The ability that he has to just dominate batters, to make them look absolutely ridiculous, is without question one of his greatest and strongest attributes. But you have to be concerned now because the last couple of seasons, he has not been the poster boy for health when it comes to being a pitcher. So there's questions going into this that the Texas Rangers are really going to have to answer. This is nearly $800 million that they have spent for 3 players. Corey Seager, Marcus Semien really struggled in the first half of their deal with the Texas Rangers in year number 1. Yes, by the end of the year, their numbers were a bit more respectable. But the Rangers have more questions now after this deal with deGrom than they have legitimate answers. Yes, John Gray is a good piece in this rotation. Jacob deGrom will head this rotation as the ace. You have Seager and Semien up the middle, but there's more questions about this roster. There's still, in my opinion, a ton of spots that have to be upgraded for the Rangers to truly compete with the powerhouse juggernaut that is the Houston Astros. And even if we look beyond the division, let's look past it. There's 3 wild card spots now, so it gives them a better chance. Does it not? In my opinion, it's an even worse chance. To me, the American League East is extremely dominant. Obviously, as a Yankee fan, that may sound a little bit biased. But I also feel that when you look at the American League West, there's possibly 2 teams better. Well, there's definitely 2 teams better, in my opinion, than the Rangers, but possibly even the Angels are better. Yes, there's going to be questions. The Angels don't have an ace outside of Shohei Ohtani. There's questions about the health of Mike Trout. But if you have a healthy Shohei Ohtani, a healthy Mike Trout, a healthy Anthony Rendon, with now some of the other moves that the Angels have made, the Rangers could still possibly end up as only the 4th best team in the American League West. And if there's 2 teams better than them in terms of a wild card race in the American League West, and potentially 3 teams better than them, possibly even 4 teams better than them in the wild card hunt coming out of the American League East, where does this actually place the Texas Rangers? There's a lot more questions to me with this Jacob deGrom signing by the Rangers than there are answers, but I need to hear from you. Baseball fans, Rangers fans specifically, how are you feeling about this deal? What are your thoughts on the time frame, the 5 years, on the $185 million portion of it? The fact that you have nearly $800 million worth wrapped up into just 3 single players. I want to know your thoughts, your feelings down in the comments, or you can find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, because I need to keep this conversation rolling. I need to understand what the mentality of the Rangers is right now. Because yes, I do believe that this move will help them surpass the Angels as the 3rd best team in the American League West division. But again, it just makes them 3rd best. Because this move by itself, even with the moves last year with Seager and Semien, do not make them better than the Houston Astros. And as we saw the Mariners really step up in a big way in 2022, ending their long postseason drought of 21 years, I don't think that this move makes them better than the Mariners. So at best, nearly $800 million later, and you're only 3rd best in your own division. And that's not even going to guarantee you anything remotely close to a wild card spot. There's a ton more questions that I have about this deal and the Rangers' outlook on themselves, their realistic ability in that division, their realistic ability in the American League as a whole. So I need to hear from you, Rangers fans. I need to know what your thoughts are. What are you feeling? Baseball fans, what are you feeling? Mets fans, let me know your thoughts on the deal, on the fact that the Rangers seemingly swooped in, offered your ace something he could not refuse. And the fact that the Mets didn't even get an opportunity, it's being reported, to counter that offer. I want to know. I want to know how you're feeling. So let me know that down in the comments, or find me over on Twitter at banter_baseball, and we can keep this conversation rolling. I want to thank you guys for joining me here and for this monumental deal. Keep it locked in by hitting the subscribe button down below. It does a huge service for us here as we continue to try to grow this community. If you have a baseball fan in your life and you've stumbled across this channel, let them know about it as well. If you are the baseball fan in your life head over to baseballbanterbroadcast.com. Use any one of the number of promo codes that we have running through the banner of the website to save on your merchandise shopping needs, your holiday, your Christmas shopping needs for yourself or for another baseball fan in your life. It does a huge service for us here at the Baseball Banter Broadcast as we continue to try to grow this community. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Keep it locked in as we continue to look at the latest news, notes, and my personal thoughts, theories, and opinions on the game of Major League Baseball. Peace.